Recording in progress.
Assigned a study, what they're going to share some documents to you. You have to review those documents like protocol, CRF, raw data set, recipe. So here they're going to give a empty CRF. Now this empty CRF form, you have to annotate it. You have to create an annotated CRF. Okay. Annotated CRF. So what I told you about the annotated CRF. So annotation CRF is nothing but this an empty CRF. We have to annotate it like this, like every information in the CRF form, it has to go to particular domain. In the domain, which variable? We are going to capture this information into in which domain, which variable. We have to annotate. So, for example, demographic information is here. Demographic information will go to DM domain. So, in DM domain, which variable? BRTHDCC variable. Gender, which variable? Sex variable. Ethnicity. We have ethnicity. Okay, like this. See, these are adverse events. In adverse event, these are the variables we have in adverse events. A term, A seriousness variables. Okay, A duration, severity, relation, start dates, end dates. So you have to annotate it like which variable we are going to pass this information. So this annotation was going to be done with a standard guidelines. Okay. This series also gives some guidelines along with the series guidelines. Okay. Your sponsor also will give some guidelines. Okay, he'll also share some guidelines how to follow those guidelines along, and he will give generally in every study, they're going to give one reference CRF form they'll give. By taking that CRF as a reference, you can create a one new CRF as well. So that doesn't a big problem. Okay, generally this CRF will be prepared by your senior statistical programmer or principal statistical programmer will be prepared. That it will be prepared only once. When at the time of starting of your project, at that time, they're going to prepare this CRF. Okay, so once the annotation CRF was done, so immediately it is also should be validated. Okay, it is validated internally, validated by your team lead. Let us assume your team lead to validate this. Okay, because your team lead also is a principal statistical programmer there. Okay, next the next immediate thing is once the annotated CRF was ready. Next thing is important document is HDTM mapping specification. Specification. Some people will also call DDT, data derived table. Data derived table. Okay, so this data derived table, this specification, how the specification looks like. Okay, don't worry, this specification also was prepared by your senior statistical programmer only. Senior or principal statistical programmer, they're going to prepare. So let us assume we are working for one project, right? Every project have a specification. HDDM, we are working for HDDM specification is very different. If you're working for an ADAM specification also different. Here specification is nothing but in HDDM level, what are the domains you have to prepare? See, you're going to prepare DM domain, AE domain, disposition domain, MH domain, PE domain. In each domain, okay, so they're going to prepare one Excel like this. What are the variables you need to prepare? Okay, see, observe here. In this domain, these are the variables you need to prepare. What is the variable label? Core we want to discuss. We're going to discuss later. For each variable, what is the variable type? What is the length? Especially the main thing is how this variable has to derive. For example, if we take a sex variable, how this sex variable has to derive? Means from which raw data file? Because there are so many raw data files you have, right? If you take the raw data, which raw data set I have to take it as input? Okay, so it will be mentioned here. Which raw data you have to take it as input? Source variable file name. So DM is my raw data. So go and check, there's a DM raw data is there. In this raw data, which variable I have to use? So there is a sex variable. Use a sex variable. They gave some programming instructions also. So they gave like if sex is equal to 1, sex is equal to m, if sex is equal to 2, then give sex is equal to female. Okay. Sex is equal to 1, sex is equal to the male, sex is equal to female. So means in the DM domain, in the sex variable, they may be they given in the raw data like 1 and 2 they captured. So now you are deriving like male and female. Like this, every information, every variable, how to derive that variable. For example, RFIC DTC, how to derive that RFIC DTC, from which raw data file, which variables I have to use, how to do that programming instructions also there. So by following this specification, the next level, you have to use, this is your input main thing. By following this specification, programmer has to write a program for each domain. Clear? So your senior statistical programmer, he'll give it a sufficient time to prepare this one. He will refer this to your annotated CRF. Okay, he'll prepare annotated CRF, right? He'll refer this annotated CRF, he'll refer all the raw data sets, and by seeing the implementation guide, what are the required variables, what are the permissible variables, what are the expected variables. There should be 3 cores will be there. We're going to discuss that is also later. So he will prepare this specification. Once the specification was ready, okay, the specification again someone will review. Either your team lead or any other alternative person will review. Okay, once your specification was ready, then only we'll do the programming planning. Programming plan. Okay, what is programming plan here? Okay, for everyone, guys, I'll tell you one structure of team. Okay, try to remember the structure and try to tell the same thing in interview also. Okay, follow one standard structure in a mind. Okay, let us assume you are working for one company, your team of 6 members. Your team is a small team. Just tell that my company have a small team. We have 6 members. In those, 2 statistical programmers are there. Statistical programmer, either 1 position or 2 position. Statistical programmer 2 position. Okay, 2 senior statistical programmers are there. Two senior statistical programmers are there. Okay, one team lead, he is the principal statistical programmer. Principal statistical programmer. He is your team lead. Okay, one is the manager person. Is the manager. Is maybe associate manager or manager. Okay, this is your team. Okay, now your team will do the programming planning. Programming planning is nothing but. So there are so many domains. There are, for example, in a HDTM level, around 20 domains are there. So these 20 domains, which person has to do which domains, he will allocate. How will he allocate? Okay. So everyone will follow in every company, everyone will follow double programming method. Remember, double programming method. What is the double programming method? Okay. For example, one DM domain is there. So this same DM domain will do two persons. One person will do at production side. One person will do at a validation side. Okay. So double programming is nothing but same DM domain. One person will do at production side. One person will do at a validation side. Let us assume QC underscore DM. So he will allocate, okay, your team lead. Let us assume for a two statistical programs are there. For one person, he allocated the production side. So let us assume you do it one statistical program or two. Okay, you do it DM domain. One senior person will do it at QC side. So what this guy will do? Okay, this guy will do by taking this same specification. By taking the same specification, same raw data sets as input, and he will write a program. He will create a DM data set. Okay. Now, same way, your senior statistical programmer also, he'll also refer the same raw data set, same specification. He'll also write it by own. He'll also write by own. He also write a code. He also prepared the DM domain. What this senior statistical, what this validation person may be anyone. Okay. What this validation person will do, he will do the compare. He'll write some proc compare steps. Okay. Proc compare base is equal to, so in a production side DM domain, and he will compare with your validation. For example, in a validation location, you prepare with some DM domain. You're going to compare both the data sets. This validation guy at the last, once his domain also was ready, he'll write one proc compare report. When you compare both DM production side DM domain, validation DM domain, it should be matched. It should be matched is nothing but same number of variables, same number of validated observations, same values also should come. If any difference was there, so immediately both the people has to coordinate each other. So which side person was mistake? Maybe production guy did some mistake programmatically, or validation guy did some mistake in the validation side. So they have to coordinate each other, rectify their codes. Again, this validation guy will run reports. Once that report was clean only, okay, then that domain was done. Okay, so this is double programming method. Why we are doing the double programming method is because this is actually a crucial data, right? If something you're taking from the raw data, you wrongly derived only one person was did it. If something you wrongly derived means this data will go to downstreams also it will go. Now downstreams also will take the same data as input and he'll also derive. He'll also get the wrong data only. Okay. To maintain the quality of the data, okay, we are doing double programming. When you do the double programming means Same program, if you do the two different persons, two different way of writing the programming. So you may, if one person may make the mistake, and some other person may cause that mistake. Okay. Some other person may he caught that mistake, and you will both will rectify that one at your end. Clear? So to avoid the mistakes, okay, to maintain the quality, okay, they'll go for a double programming. Okay, so like this, for example, some 10 domains if we have, some 20 domains if we have. So these 10 domains, he will allocate, okay, there are two statistical programmers are there, so 5 persons will do production side. He will divide five domains for each person. Same thing, same 10 domains, you have to do validation that side also, right? So he will allocate the first senior statistical programmer, five domains he will allocate. He will do the allocation like this. That is the programming plan. Clear now? Got an idea?
Sudarshan, quick question. So that means whoever is doing that validation, that guy also has to write the complete program based on a specification, right?
Complete program he has to write.
Yeah, based on requirement or a specification. Okay.
Okay. So once the programming planning, once the allocation was done, the next step is programming. Okay. So whoever allocate for which domain, they has to start writing the program. Once everyone start writing the programming, once the comparison was done, and the validation report was clean, so finally everyone will create a one output. HDTM outputs will be created. Okay, clear? Got an idea now? Now HDTM output data sets are ready. Once HDTM data sets are ready, the next thing is XPT files creation. So we're going to convert all our HDTM data sets to, we will convert all HDTM SAS, HDTM outputs will be all our data sets. We have to convert these data sets to XPT files. I'll tell you later how to convert a data set into XPT files. It's a simple thing. Okay. Why we are converting into XPT means because we have to use these XPT files only in a, there's a tool called Pinnacle 21. The next tool is Pinnacle 21. Okay. So there's a tool, okay. Pinnacle 21 tool is it. I'll show you later how to use this tool also. We have to use this tool mainly for creating the define.xml file and validation notes. We also call validation notes as a P21 report. We have to prepare them on P21 report. Okay. What is this P21 report? Validation notes means we have to upload all our HDTM datasets. HDTM datasets are nothing but you will prepare all HDTM outputs, right? We have to convert those into XPT files. Those XPT files we have to upload into P21 report, P21 tool. If we upload into P21 tool, it will give one report. Okay, what this tool will do, it will compare, for example, you have generated all your HDTM dataset by following the HDTM 3.2 version. You follow this implementation guide and you prepare the report, correct? You prepare the HDTM dataset. Whether you follow these standards or not, as per the standards, you prepare your HDTM datasets or not, it will validate. It will validate and it will give a report. If you not followed any rules and regulations, you not followed any standards as per the implementation guide, it will throw a warnings and errors. So we have to go and check that report. Okay. So those warnings or errors, okay, mostly that report should be clean. Okay. If you done any programmatically mistakes also or any raw data also if you have any issue, it will throw a report. Okay, you have to go and check the report. If required, you have to go back and update your codes and again come back, again generate a new report. By end of the day, your P21 report should be clean. If your P21 report is clean, then you can go and submit your study. Okay, so this is the work. Now this work, okay, this starting to ending we are doing, right? Studies, we reviewed a document, annotated CRF, mapping specification, programming, XPQ files, Pinnacle 21, creative and XML HTTP. Okay. So this is at a first step. When you got a raw data at a first step. When you received a raw data, okay, first time you'll write a SAS, new programs you'll write it. New SAS programs, fresh programs you'll write it. First time. Okay, you'll write a new SDTM, new SAS programs you'll write, and you'll create a SDTM dataset. One second, guys. Okay. So you see my screen, right? So this process and all we'll do it when first time when you got a raw data. We'll write a new SAS programs, SDTM datasets will prepare. Later by taking these SDTM datasets, adding datasets will prepare. Next to tables and listings. Okay. Again after 1 month or after 2 months, after 3 months, depends on your study. You will get again fresh raw data you will get. There is a data cut going to happen. Or you can say fresh data. Again, you will get a data. For example, let us assume 1st January 2022, you got a data. First time with this date. All the data sets you got it raw data. Again, after 2 months, so let us assume the 1st March, you got a data. So that time, so your data will be refreshed. Again, new raw data you will get. That time you won't write again new SAS programs. By the time you could write it all the programs, you have to just rerun the existing SAS programs. Again, you won't write a freshly DM domain. Again, you don't write a freshly AE program. Again, you won't write because already you wrote it first time. You have to rerun the existing programs. When you rerun with the existing new raw data, because same raw data going to be updated. Why do you update? See, for example, yeah. When you got a first time at the time of raw data, there is only 2 visits are done. That is also at the time of the visit 1 screening information. Visit 2 week 1 information was available in the visit 2, the week 1. When you received the first raw data on 1st January 2022, you received the data up to here only. 2 visits data only have. Okay. Again, after about 2 months, when you refreshed, okay, that time along with first two visits of data, the third visit was there, right? Let us assume the third visit was also has happened within the 2 months. Okay, so this third visit data also going to be added to the existing raw data one, along with first 2 visits. Now third visit data also will be added. That will come into new raw. So this again is not some other raw. It's the same data only. It will be added. One more visit information was added for each subject. Okay, so that's the reason you no need to rerun, write a fresh programs. You have to just rerun the existing programs. When you rerun, if you find any log issue due to new data, maybe some smaller minor changes was required. If required in a program, you do it. If not required, you don't need to do it also. Okay, just you have to rerun existing programs. Again, you create a new SGTM data sets. By taking the data set as an input, you have to they will prepare the Adam data set. Again, they will run the Adam codes, Adam data set they will prepare, and then if required, they'll prepare the tables and registers. Now, this was the repeating again. March, April, May, maybe June or July, you got again. Some 15th to June, you got again the data. Some again new data. Again, you will rerun the programs. You prepare the SGTM data sets. Again, I have to prepare the Adam data set only first time. Here also say to prepare the Adam data set. First time you will prepare the new programs. Next time you will rerun the existing programs to prepare the Adam data sets also. Same way. So this is what your daily work. Okay. So only for the first time you will prepare the annotated CRF. First time you will prepare the SGTM specification. Only for the first time you will prepare the program. The next time and all it should be reruns on. Okay. So when you are going to join any company, definitely by the time the project should be ready. Okay. In that project, so someone definitely will prepare the annotated CRF and specification. From this part only you start working, programming only. This is only major part. Okay. Maybe sometimes you will get a chance to write a new programs, or else if you join after this one, they'll ask you to just rerun the existing cell. Clear?
So if the case is different means you are saying that visit 1, visit 2, visit 3 is the same case. If the case is a different person, then we have to write the new SAS program, sir.
No, you won't write a new SAS program. Okay. If a persons also was added in your study also, okay. See, this is a study, okay. If you may add it, okay, 1 or 2 persons may add it also. It will add it to the existing data only. Same variable, same raw data. Your program won't change. Okay.
Okay.
Your program won't change. Okay. Your program never will. One domain have only one program. One
Okay.
time you write it. Okay. You may do
Right, I
some
got it.
minor changes in the program when you rerun according to the data. Maybe some truncation was happen or anything.
That minor changes has to be done at new SAS program or else SDTM.
You only have to do it. Once the DM domain was allocated to you, every time you have to take care that one in every level. When you rerun also, you have to update that code itself. You only have to, no one will do.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Sir, in specification, it is showing that ISO 1802, that means what, sir?
I haven't explained that one. Wait. Okay.
Then every time we have to rewrite that program only, that's all.
That's all. First time we'll write a program, next time and all you have to rerun the programs.
Okay.
Okay. This is what the work daily. Okay. So in interview purpose, you have to explain this total workflow. Along with this also, okay. Try to explain the, for example, for annotated CRF. To prepare the annotated CRF, what are the documents used, what are the source documents was required. What are the source documents are required? You will definitely first you require a blank CRF and protocol document. And you have to follow some CRF guidelines. It gives us some CRF guidelines and HTTP implementation guide. Okay, for example, 3.2 version if you follow, and they'll going to give a raw data sets for reference. Okay. If someone is doing the preparation of SDTM mapping specification, is doing SDTM spec is doing for preparing the SDTM spec. What are the documents that you require? Okay, almost same documents. By the time annotated CRF is ready, instead of blank CRF, we'll refer the annotated CRF. Okay, and protocol CRF guidelines was not required. HDTM implementation guide, draft tests. Okay. Now at the programming person, what is the programming person was required when you before you are starting any programming, you definitely required all this. You by the time annotated CRF was ready, your annotated CRF was required, and HDTM spec should be ready. Okay, then by taking HDTM implementation guide, raw data sets, you can also refer to the protocol. And SAS. All these things are your. Okay, clear? This workflow now. Okay. So it is clear. So let me give the HDTM, what are the domains we are going to discuss. Let me give all the list. Okay. So in HDTM, totally we are going to discuss majorly 4 categories of domains will be there. Special purpose domains, interventions, events, and findings. Okay. In each category, first is DM domain, demographic domain. Demographics. Okay, see comments domain. Yes, see subject elements domain. Yes, subject visits domain. Demographic domain, comments domain, subject elements domain, subject visits domain. Okay. Again, in the interventions category. We have EX domain, exposure domain, is exposure as collected. CM, concomitant medication domain. Concomitant medication. SU, substance use. Okay. Again, events categories. A, adverse events domain. MH, medical history domain. DS, disposition domain. C, clinical events domain. DEV, protocol deviation domain. Okay. These are from events categories. Now findings categories. LB, laboratory domain. VS, vital science domain. ECG test. P, physical examination domain. Sorry. I, inclusion and exclusion criteria. AD, death details. D, drug accountability. Okay. Majorly, these 4 category domains we are going to discuss. Apart from this, in HDTM, we also have trial design domains. Trial design domains. So these are defines, usually called TDMs, trial design models. Okay, we have trial arm domain. Okay. Trial element domain. Trial visit domain. Trial inclusion and exclusion domain. Okay. TS, trial summary domain. Okay, these are the 5 trial design models also we're going to discuss, and also along with 2 small topics will be there. One is the rel-rec domain and supplementary domains. Subject 6 domains. We also have supplementary qualifiers. Okay, qualifiers. Okay. So this is also we are going to discuss all these things. Okay. So what I'll give you some brief introduction for each domain, especially these 4 categories. Okay. So you'll get an overall idea. Means which domain in CRF form, which information will go to which domain. Later, in the next from the next class, again for each domain in detail we'll going to discuss. Okay, in detail what are the variables we have, what are the variables meaning, in detail we're going to discuss later. But today I'll give just a brief introduction, just overall idea what is this domain. Okay, let's start with first demographic domain. So what will capture in a demographic domain? In demographic domain, we'll capture the subject's demographic information, like subject age, like his subject age, sex, country, what is his race, what is the date of birth. Okay. If any death was happening, his death date. Okay, when the treatment was started for him, treatment was ended for him. So this type of demographic information will capture in a DEM domain. All the subjects. Remember, this is not only for one subject. Every time when you're speaking, all the subjects information will go to only one. All the subjects, the sex, all the subjects, country details, all the subject race details, date of birth details. All the subjects demographic information will domain, demographic domain. Okay. So DM domain will capture the subject's demographic information. Next. Comments domain. What this domain will capture? Comments domain. Generally, if you observe any CRF form, generally doctors or investigators, usually they'll write some comments or remarks or any feedbacks or any notes. So, for example, they did some LB test. Okay, about the test result, they wrote some comment. Okay, after examining the patient, he examined the adverse event. About this adverse event, he gave some comment. Like this, all these comments will together be placed into one domain. For example, one subject have a 2 to 3 comments he received from the investigator, from the doctor. Like this, for each subject, all the comments Like this for all the subjects, all the comments will together will capture in one domain called comments. The comments is nothing but anything, any remarks or feedbacks, any notes from the investigator. Okay, we will capture in a comments domain. Clear? Sometimes these comments also we will take it in a separate, some CRFs we have separate empty page will be there. In empty page, they will write all these comments. Okay, so those comments also we will capture in a CMD, COD. Okay, next subject elements domain. Tell me what are the elements we have? Actually, we discussed. What are the elements we have? What is the flow I told you?
Screening, randomization,
Meaning randomization, treatment,
treatment, follow-up.
correct? Now for each subject in subject elements domain, each element, okay? For each subject, when the screening was started, when the screening was ended, when the randomization started, when the randomization ended, when the treatment started, when the treatment ended, when the follow-up started, when the follow-up ended. So in the subject elements domain, for each subject, for each element start date and end dates, we will capture in a subject elements domain. For each subject, each element start date and end date, we will capture in a subject elements domain. Clear? Simple. That's what we do in a subject elements domain. Subject visits domain is all the visit information. Subject, but if you take one subject, for that particular subject, when and how is visited to the hospital. All these visit start dates and dates. When and how is visited, visited date, visit information. Okay, there are two types of visits will be there, right? Yesterday we discussed scheduled visits and unscheduled visits. So for each subject, when and all visited, in those visits, some are scheduled visits will come and unscheduled visits also will come. So all is visits information will capture in a subject visit domain. Okay, that's it. Clear now? You got an idea in each domain which information will go in special purpose categories? Next, interventions categories. Interventions more about treatment related. First, in exposure domain. In exposure domain, exposure as collected, both are same. There is a slight difference we have. What is the difference? When we are discussing about the topic, I'll tell you. Okay. Actually, if exposure as collected is not there previously, only exposure alone it was there. So in exposure domain, we'll capture study treatment. Study treatment or study drug. Now you are working for one study, it has one drug, right? So when the subject is taking the study drug, the subject, when subject was exposed to study treatment, study drug, that information will capture in exposure domain. Means about the drug, when and all is taking the drug and how much dose is taking, what the dose unit, how frequent is taking, how route, in which route is taking, in which form is taking, when and all is taking, the start dates and end dates, always. So when and all subject exposed to our study drug, that information will capture into exposure domain. Same information into exposure as collected also. There is a slight difference. That's it. The difference I'll tell you later. So that is EX domain, EX and AC. Okay, concomitant medication. See, observe here. In CRF, there is separate form for concomitant medication. So this information will go to concomitant medication domain. So what and all will capture in concomitant medication? There are two scenarios will come. Prior medication information and due to adverse event any medication record. For example, prior medication is number previously subject have some asthma or BP or sugar is there. For that one is taking the tablet and same tablets is continuing after clinical trials are started. So those tablets information about what is the tablet, how much dose, what is the units, when it started, when it's stopping. So these details will capture in a concomitant medication domain. The second scenario, he got some side effects or adverse events. Adverse events is nothing side effect. He got some fever or cold or cough or back pains. For that one, he took one tablet. That information also will capture here. Due to adverse event, he took any medication. That medication details also will capture in a concomitant medication. Means if subject is taking any extra medication other than our study drug, if taking any extra medication, any extra tablet, any extra medicine, we have to capture in a concomitant medication domain. Okay, clear? Next, substance use domain. In this domain, subjects habitual information like smoking habits, alcoholic habit of taking coffee, tea, habitual information will capture in a substance use domain. Smoking, alcohol, okay, coffee, tea, anything, any habitual information will capture in a substance use domain. Okay, got it now? In intervention domain, which domain will capture which information? You'll get a small idea only. Okay, you don't get a complete idea. Don't worry, don't panic. And anyway, again, I will explain each domain. When we explain each domain, again, I'll repeat the same thing. Okay, there in detail we will discuss. Okay, clear? So that is interventions categories. Next, events categories. First is adverse event domain. Adverse event is nothing but straightforward side effects. If subjects have any side effects after taking our study drug, see in CRF form also there is a separate page will be there. So the side effect name, when he started, when he stopped, what is the outcome, what is the severity level, all this information will capture in it adverse event domain. Okay. Next, medical history. Medical history is nothing but see there is a separate page in the CRF form also. At the time of screening will capture all this detail will go to medical history. Medical history domain is nothing but previously subject have any medical problems. Medical problems are nothing but anything. Any illness or any diseases. Any diseases, any accidents, or any surgeries, anything was happened. Previously, subject have any medical problem. The medical problems may be anything. Illness, diseases, surgeries, all these things. If anything was happened to the subject, those details will capture in a medical history domain. All these details, whatever we are capturing in this CRF form, in this page, will go to MH domain. Okay, next. DS domain, status of the subject. Whether subject completed the study or not completed the study, or in between he discontinued or was in between he was died. What is the status of the subject will capture in this disposition domain. Okay, understand, right? Status is nothing but the subject completed the study or not completed the study. What is his current status? We will capture in a disposition domain. Okay, next. DV, protocol deviation domain. If subject took any deviations apart from protocol, in a protocol they mention certain things. For example, when you come for a visit, you have to 20 mg tablet, but it took only 10 mg tablet. It's a deviation. For example, in the protocol they mention some prohibited medicines. One of the subjects, one day he took one medicine in that treatment list. So any subject took any prohibited medicines which was mentioned in the protocol, it's a deviation. So if any subject not followed the things in the protocol, it's a deviation. The deviation details will capture which subject, what deviation he taken. We have to capture in a protocol deviation. Okay, if any subject took any deviations, or you can take the violations, meaning will be it took any deviations or violations from the protocol. So those details will capture in the DV domain. Okay. Next, clinical events. Clinical events is nothing but side effects only. Previously, clinical events are not there. Only adverse events are there. Now, clinical events also they are added. Like now, we are in some studies, not in every study. Some studies like major side effects information will go to adverse event. What minor side effects, diarrhea, vomitings, like this minor side effects we are capturing in clinical events. Same side effects only. Same side effects information only. We are capturing in clinical events, like minor side effects, you can say. So which side effect information we are not capturing in adverse event, we are capturing in clinical events. Okay, clear? This is findings categories. Next is findings categories. That's about the events categories. Next findings. Findings more about lab tests, test related. LB domain, LB related test. In laboratory, see in CRF form, there is every time we'll do the lab tests. Especially 3 categories of lab tests we'll do it. Hematology, clinical chemistry, urine analysis. And each category will do the different lab tests. Okay. So every time we'll do the lab test results. will capture in the particular domain. So in LV domain, these three category lab tests, test results, we will capture. When you come to vital signs, like vital signs, height, weight, body mass index, temperature, pulse rate, systolic blood pressure, diastolic blood pressure. So this type of test will do it. The test results will capture. EG means ECG test will do. ECG test results will capture. All the findings same, different tests. P means physical examination. Different body systems. See? How is P? Physical examination. We will check normalities and abnormalities of different body systems. How is lungs functioning, heart functioning, kidneys functioning, brain functioning, everything. How is skin has rashes or something. Is it normal or abnormal? Simple. How is heart functioning? Normal or abnormal? Kidneys functioning? Normal or abnormal? Lungs functioning? Normal or abnormal? If it's abnormal, what is that abnormality? Normal or abnormalities? Abnormalities of body systems. Body systems are in as organ classes. Classes will catch. Okay. Next, inclusion and exclusion criteria. Inclusion and exclusion criteria not met. See, generally, if 100 subjects will come, all 100 subjects we won't talk, right? Remember, I'm telling the same example. 100 subjects will come, let us assume. In 100 subjects, only 60 subjects will repeat. What is that meaning? These 40 subjects are failed in screening. Failed in screening is nothing but they're failed in inclusion and exclusion criteria they failed. So these 40 subject details will capture in IEDOM. Means which subjects are failed in inclusion and exclusion criteria, failed in screening, due to which inclusion criteria, due to which exclusion criteria he failed. That details will capture in IEDOM. So which subject they're not met this inclusion and exclusion criteria, those subject details will go to IEDOM. Simple. Death details next. Any subject death was happened. Death details will go to death details. Death details is nothing but like what is the primary reason for the death, secondary reason for the death, what is the location of the death. These three details majorly will capture in the DD domain, death details domain. Any subject death was happened. Death details. Okay. Primary reason for the death. Or secondary reason for the death. Or the location of the death. Okay. Drug accountability. Accountability is nothing but I can say, okay. If one subject come to the hospital, we gave her 10 tablets. We dispensed the 10 tablets to him. Let us assume. Again, after 10 days, he returned the 3 tablets to me. Ten tablets we dispensed, 3 tablets returned. What does that mean? In these 10 days, he consumed only 7 tablets. So this information, how many tablets you dispensed, how many tablets you returned. This information will capture in a drug accountability domain. Clear now? So every domain will capture some important information. If you observe why I was explaining everything this one, if you go and check in CRF form, take any CRF form. See, every page information will go to any one of the domain. If you take, for example, inform consent, demographic information will go to demographic domain. See, smoking habits, alcoholic habits, where these details will capture it. See, substance use domain. In CRF, in every page, every information, previous medical history. Previous medical history is nothing but MH domain. In MH domain, we are going to capture previous medical products. See, next, physical examination. We have separate domain for PE in the findings category. See, physical examination. Vital signs. See, vital signs will go to vital signs domain. ECG, we have to go to ECG domain. Okay, next, laboratory details, hematology, clinical chemistry, all these details go to LB domain. Okay. Again, in visit to same physical examination, vital signs, laboratory. So we have every information will go to one domain. Okay, observe here, concomitant medication. We have separate domain for concomitant medication. So this information will go to concomitant medication. Next, adverse events will go to adverse event domain. Off study form. This is status of the study, completed or not completed, discontinued or it was happened. Will go to disposition domain, status of the study. Like this, every information in the CRF form will go to any one of the domain. Okay, clear? Now got an overall idea. What is these domains? In which domain, which information we are capturing. Clear? Any doubts? Anyone? Again, in detail, again, we'll going to discuss each domain later. But today, just I gave an overall idea of it.
Sudarshan, can you please share the CRF and annotated CRF forms and the documents, whatever you have shared, if possible?
Yes, okay, I'll share. Already shared, right? Protocol and CRF.
No, I guess.
Okay, I'll share anyway. Today I'll share anyway.
Yeah, sure.
Implementation guide, protocols, CRF, annotated CRF guidelines. Everything I'll share.
Yeah, thanks, Sudarshan.
Okay then. So that's it for today. We'll continue tomorrow.
Recording stopped.
Okay. Yeah.
Thanks,
you.
sir.
Yeah, thank you.